Hey readers, welcome back to another episode of Dragons and Spaceships. I'm your host, Brandi, and today we are reaching for the stars, literally. Our featured book this week is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, a moving, gorgeously written story that blends space exploration, ambition, and forbidden love against the backdrop of 1980s NASA. If you've read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Daisy Jones and the Six, you know Reid has a gift for taking you inside a specific moment in time, letting you live there. But in Atmosphere, she takes that gift to the cosmos. This isn't science fiction in traditional sense. There are no aliens or starships here. Instead, it's about what it means to chase greatness when the world tells you not to. It's about identity, courage, and the cost of belonging. But before we dive deeper into our main feature, I want to shine a quick spotlight on a book that's been making waves in the book club world. The book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, a sweeping story of two childhood friends, Sam and Sadie, who reunite as adults to build video games together, navigating fame, ambition, and complicated ties of friendship across decades. It's being celebrated not just for its gaming world backdrop, but for how it explores identity, collaboration, and what it means to keep creating and trying again in every tomorrow. So if you're looking for a rich, character-driven read with emotional depth and creative pulse, this one is definitely worth adding to your list. All right, now let's head back to space and set the stage for our main feature of this episode. But before we dive into characters and themes, let's talk about where and when Atmosphere takes place, because the setting is more than scenery, it's a statement. It's the early 1980s, and NASA is at a turning point. The space race has cooled, shuttle technology is evolving, and for the first time, astronaut applications are open to women. We meet our main character, Joan Goodwin, an astronomy professor at Rice University. She's brilliant, calm under pressure, and absolutely obsessed with the stars. When she sees NASA finally inviting women scientists to apply, she knows she has to try. She gets in on her second attempt and enters the astronaut training program. What follows is a vivid portrait of ambition colliding with discrimination. The world of NASA, as Reid shows it, is dominated by white male military pilots who can't imagine women in the same suits they wear. So the novel drops us into this powerful historical moment, part space drama, part social commentary, where the sky isn't the limit, it's the battleground. Now let's meet our crew. We have Joan Goodwin, the heart of the story. She is steady, logical, and quietly courageous. She spent her whole life proving herself in rooms of men who underestimate her, but she's also deeply human, an artist and musician who believes that science and beauty belong together. Then there's Vanessa Ford, a pilot and aeronautics engineer. She's bold, sarcastic, and fearless in a way Joan admires, maybe envies a little. Vanessa's dream is to fly the shuttle herself, but NASA's unspoken rule keeps that dream out of reach. Their friendship forms early in the program, a friendship that slowly deepens into something more. But this is the 1980s, when being openly gay at NASA could end your career overnight. So their love story unfolds quietly, carefully, beneath the hum of control rooms and countdowns. Surrounding them are other members of their training group. Griff, the charming, supportive friend, Lydia, the hyper-competitive surgeon who sees everyone as a rival, Donna Fitzgerald and Hank Reedman, the couple trying to balance duty and desire, and Jimmy Heyman, the pilot who embodies every old boys club bias imaginable. And then there's Joan's family, her sister Barbara and her niece Frances, who anchor the story back on Earth. Barbara's selfishness and instability forced Joan to take on a maternal role for Frances, reminding us that while Joan is reaching for space, she's also fighting to hold her family together. One of the reasons Atmosphere hits so hard is because it asks the question, what are you willing to give up for your dream? For Joan and Vanessa, that question isn't theoretical. Every decision, every moment of joy is shadowed by risk. Reid beautifully explores the tension between ambition and sacrifice. We see how Joan has to navigate sexism within NASA while balancing loyalty to her family. She's torn between being the perfect scientist, the dependable sister, and the woman who wants to love freely. The book also examines what it means to belong not just in love, but in a world that constantly tells you there's no place for you. That theme echoes throughout every part of Atmosphere: the loneliness of space, the isolation of secrecy, the hunger to be seen and accepted as you are. Reid doesn't lecture, she shows. You feel Joan's quiet defiance in the way she keeps showing up, keeps excelling, keeps daring to exist fully, even when the system tries to make her smaller. Taylor Jenkins Reid writes with that cinematic clarity she's famous for. Every scene feels like a shot from a film, bright control panels, endless stars outside, the shuttle window, the quiet click of mission control headsets. Her prose balances tension and tenderness perfectly, the adrenaline of spaceflight, but also the intimacy of two women sharing secrets in the dark. What makes her writing so compelling is her ability to weave historical realism with emotional truth. Even without spoilers, I can say Reid's deception of NASA's early inclusion of women feels both inspiring and infuriating. You celebrate every small victory while aching over every other barrier. And as always with her novels, Atmosphere delivers that signature emotional gut punch, the kind that leaves you staring at the last page, not quite ready to come back to Earth. So here's what I've been thinking about since finishing Atmosphere. Would you risk your career, maybe your entire future, for the person you love? And how do we define success when the world makes you choose between being great and being whole? This book made me reflect on the invisible sacrifices so many women had to make and still make to chase their dreams. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Joan made the right choices, and what do you think you would do in her position? But all right, book dragons, it's time to roar about an exciting upcoming release. The spotlight this week is on Rites of the Starling by Devney Perry, the much-anticipated second book in her Shield of Sparrow series. It's slated for release on April 7th, 2026. If you loved the first book, you'll be thrilled. This sequel promises more magic, more monsters, and more stakes. The description teases a cursed realm, a princess on a quest, a lost warrior, and the line, "It's time to discover the monster within." So if you're already hooked on that blend of romantasy, danger, and sweeping fantasy worlds, mark your calendar. This one is gearing up to be a fan favorite. And make sure you tune in next week as we are covering Shield of Sparrows. That's your Dragon's Roar for this week. Keep your claws sharp and TBR ready, because when this one lands, it's going to soar. Ready your bookmarks. Atmosphere is a story about courage, not just the kind that gets you to space, but the kind that lets you live authentically when the world tells you not to. It's about love that defies gravity, ambition that comes at a cost, and the quiet power of believing you belong in every room or every orbit. If you're a fan of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Daisy Jones and the Six, this book will absolutely speak to you. And if you're new to the Taylor Jenkins Atmosphere, this is the perfect blend of heart, history, and humanity, and you're going to love it. Thank you for joining me on another exciting episode of Dragons and Spaceships. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and tag us with your favorite lines or thoughts from Atmosphere. Until next time, keep looking up, keep reading, and as always, may your TBR pile never stop growing.